Proportionate representation and fair congressional maps. To begin, fair congressional maps have been sought by different groups and individuals for some time now, but there have been very limited successes of these individuals and groups. And this is in part because what constitutes a fair map is somewhat up to question. What this presentation will hope to demonstrate is what a fair map can be based on how idealized fair maps have backfired and how some judicial rulings have created fair maps. Now, some initial parameters for maps in general to follow are adherence to the Voting Rights Act, which regulates minority representation and rights, and state regulations such as ones mandating keeping counties whole. Other aspects of fairness include geographic compactness of seats, partisanship proportionate and representative to states, minority rights, and keeping communities of shared interest together, and Iowa and Pennsylvania will be analyzed to this extent. Now, the main problem with the Iowa map, the current map being on the top row here, is that Republicans have gained this massive geographic advantage in recent years, and subsequently in 2016, Republicans won about 53% of the vote in Iowa, yet won all of the congressional seats. And when Democrats had a more favorable year, where they lost winning only 47% of the vote, they carried 3 of the 4 congressional seats, which is a big mismatch. These maps are created by state legislative staff that is nonpartisan and can't use partisan data, and its main failing is that the Des Moines and Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area, these areas are split up. So I made my own map using the same data and with my suggested changes, and these communities are kept together, and they're 2 blue, 2 red seats, which is much more proportional. In regards to Pennsylvania, the initial map was a Republican gerrymander designed to elect 13 Republicans and 5 Democrats. This was overruled by the state Supreme Court, and it blatantly splits communities such as Harrisburg and Philadelphia. So the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania mandated their own map, which does much less splitting and is more representative in partisanship. There are currently 9 Republicans and 9 Democrats from this map, which is very representative of a swing state. And Republicans actually have enough of a geographic advantage that they have a base partisanship advantage in most of the seats. However, they have not been able to win some of these seats still, which points to more their electoral failing, not liberal activist judges. To conclude, fair maps, such as in the traditional sense, such as Iowa, may not function as intended because simply making geographic compact and neat maps is not the only thing to consider. The notion of liberal activist judges is false, and as maps in states such as Florida and Virginia that have been created by the courts have produced similar proportionate results like the Pennsylvania maps have. This does raise the question of proportional representation in multi-member districts to go beyond the typical geographic constituency and provide more descriptive representation. Overall, considering all aspects of fairness in map making is critical to make a truly fair map and to substantively represent the most people.